from the local station, News 4 Jax starts now.
Right now it's 6. A woman is telling her story after barely surviving an horrific tubing crash that killed her best friend on July 4th last year.
Her arm was completely broken, and I crawled to her, to the water with my injury, and I tried to help her because she would start passing out.
That is Victoria Nikiforova. Her best friend who died is on the left side of this picture. Her name was Elena Pavlova.
This afternoon, Nikiforova and her attorney, John Phillips, they announced a civil lawsuit filed against the boater who was towing their tube. The lawsuit alleges that the boater was recklessly towing the tube in unsafe conditions. Although the incident is still under criminal investigation by the Florida Wildlife Commission, we're not naming the boater because he's not been criminally charged. News 4 Jax reporter Eric Avignon joining us live with more on the lawsuit and why, Eric, Nikiforova wanted to tell her story.
Well, Joy, we're just a few months away from the start of the 2025 boating season, and Victoria Nikiforova wanted her story to be an example of what Victoria Nikiforova wanted her story to be an example of what can happen when boaters are reckless on the water. July 4th, 2024, a cell phone camera records the beginning of a fun time tubing on Black Creek. Inside the tube is Victoria Nikiforova, pictured on the right, and her best friend, Elena Pavlova, pictured on the left. We paused the video because seconds later, this fun time on the water turns into tragedy when the two women are driven too close to the edge of the creek as water conditions become too choppy. Both women were ejected from the tube. Victoria flew into a tree. She survived the impact, but was badly injured.
I had my hip broken, which is not healing yet.
Elena was flung much further and died from her injuries. Victoria says it happened so fast.
We were laughing, and next second, I'm hitting the tree, so I passed out.
What looks like fun turns into horror real quick.
Wednesday afternoon, Victoria and her attorneys, John Phillips and Bill Walker, announced a civil lawsuit against the boater who was towing their tube. The lawsuit alleges the boater was recklessly boating while towing the two women.
It's speed, it's knowing the water conditions, it's failure to adjust, Billy.
And it's knowing when you can zig and zag and when you can't. I mean, it's kind of as simple as that. The bigger issue here, too, is having a requisite spotter on the back of the boat. You've got the person driving the boat that's going to be looking forward. It's really important to always have somebody on the back of the boat who's going to be checking to make sure that the tube's in the right spot.
Victoria and Elena were both widows who migrated to the U.S. from Russia. They became best friends who supported each other. Friends whose last time together ended in tragedy. No, it's worth pointing out that Victoria lost her job due to injuries that prevent her from working. She hasn't been able to pay her medical bills. More bills are adding up. And get this, she needs another surgery, but she can't afford it right now. As for her best friend, Elena, she leaves behind two children. Reporting live, Eric Avignon, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Eric. An abandoned car dealership in St. Augustine is being searched by St. Johns County deputies. They've received several tips relating to a missing woman's case. Laura Bryant, she's been missing more than 2 years now. Deputies received a tip, though, claiming that the 44